welcome back to another episode of Jerry Cruzy Films. I'm your host, Jonah Cruzy. What is the difference between an anime and a cartoon? Well, to most people, not that much. They're both forms of animation, they're both used to entertain audiences, and they're both there to be fun. But to most people, there are some differences as well. They're not as big as other things, but they're definitely there. For example, the animation between an anime and a cartoon is definitely a lot different. A Japanese animation would be more lifelike and more human with all their characters, while a cartoon will try and have everything more exaggerated. You would see a cartoon of a man be more exaggerated with a big puffed up chest like Superman, or a big head like Omi from Shaolin Showdown. But you wouldn't really see that in an anime. It would be more human, more lifelike. Try to be more real towards reality. Another thing that is the difference is usually just the story. A cartoon will usually focus on more slice of life episodes with a little bit of plot at the beginning or the end of each episode, and then get to the big climax of the huge overarching story at the end of the season. An anime would usually focus on an entire overall story arc and focus on slice of life episodes very rarely. They're there, but not as much. Now, I'm not saying that there's only that on each side. Or in high school is a good example of mostly slice of life episodes and very little storyline at all. And honestly, I can't really think of anything where there's overall storyline, but I would say Shaolin Showdown does count. It mostly focuses on the first season being slice of life, but the next season gets pretty much of overall stories. The third are the goofy side quests. Now, it makes it a little bit hard to explain what this means, but I'll try my best. Now, usually there's an overall stereotype that each thing must do. For example, the traveling inside the body. A lot of cartoons will usually have that episode where a person will shrink down and eventually go into one of the bodies of their friends and try to fight an inside disease. Now, an anime, on the other hand, would usually focus on a festival or something being that version's stereotype episode. Basically, there's a few episodes that each cartoon does and a few episodes that each anime does, and it always seems to be appearing every single time. But they're very different in the ways. Anime is also considered to be more adult. Now, shows nowadays for cartoons are definitely having adult themes. Adventure Time would have a whole lot of things talking about suicide and losing your family and just like losing someone in general. An anime would have things like that as well, losing a family member or seeing someone die before your eyes. Very dark things would happen. But a cartoon would usually try to cover it up with child themes. Yes, you can see the adult theme in it, but it's usually covered up by trying to make it seem more kid-friendly in a way. Usually with the cartoon characters being more goofy. An anime, on the other hand, lets it out there. You usually don't see the anime just covering up with something kid and cartoony. It's always usually having the cartoon there. You see the people, you see the sadness, you see the anger. You see every single emotion that happens. And yes, you would see that in a cartoon, but it's, again, usually more covered up. Rarely focusing on the sad points, mostly focusing on the goofy points. Plus, you wouldn't really see blood and gore in a show like The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, which has a lot of dark themes in it. But you would see it in a show like Blue Exorcist. Finally, there's censorship. Basically, the censorship between America and Japan are very different. You can see a lot of things that an American TV show wouldn't show that a Japanese show definitely would. One of them being is bodies. Bodies in anime are definitely more outgoing and more sexual in a way. You don't really get that in a cartoon, and if you do, it's very, very censored. You rarely see a cartoon character even showing anything. Of course, there's also cursing and whatnot that is censored, and many more things. The point is that American censorship is a lot different from Japanese censorship. But other than that, there's very many differences. And if I've missed any of them, please tell me. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.